You know, I absolutely hate the fact that individuals who have been loyal to a brand like Porsche or Ferrari over the last 10 plus years now have to play all kinds of Mickey Mouse games to get very average product that is just in the spotlight, when 5 years ago, that very same average product, you were literally offered blowjobs to take off the dealership floor. So what happened? All right, guys, welcome back to Exotic Car Hacks, and today we are looking at what is happening to the car world, what has happened to Ferrari and Porsche that has made them such terrible brands and dealerships to deal with. I mean, historically, you know, in the past, when you were told you were going to a Porsche dealership, you were pretty excited. It was a pretty good experience all around. But then 2020 happened. Something magical happened at Porsche and Ferrari. Well, the people there simply thought they were bouncers at a nightclub. They had that 20 minutes of fame where they basically were the guys that were the gatekeepers to all the toys you wanted. And as a result, this culture seems to have infected their car industry like a virus that just won't go away. So today we're gonna look at what really happened, what are some of these tricks these dealers are using, and how is this impacting you in the future when you want to buy things, so you don't fall victim to some of these really stupid games that these really stupid dealers are playing that eventually will win them really stupid prizes. At the end of the day, we all know that the people that really control the game are the ones with the money, and eventually these dealers will start getting hurt. So what happened? Well, simply put, in 2020, everybody started buying cars. I predicted this. We looked at it years ago. You can go back to all my YouTube channel and take a look at all of the predictions we've made about the COVID era and how that changed the entire game as it pertains to the car world. But something different happened, is that dealers who previously were barely selling cars now became car selling superstars because everybody rushed in and there wasn't enough inventory to go around. And so even the cars that weren't so popular became more popular. And so as a result, dealers like Porsche and Ferrari used the playbook straight out of what jewelers have been doing for decades, which is forcing people to buy unwanted product in order to basically get more desirable product. And I can't tell you how amazingly annoying this is, especially because they even put restrictions on some of their best customers. And that is oddly bizarre, especially for individuals who rely on these relationships to basically build their businesses. So let's see what kind of shenanigans are dealers running into today. I'm sure you've heard the first one, which is that you have to buy cars you don't want to obviously get cars you want. Often this has been the form with Ferrari. This is nothing new. You've always had to kind of be in the business of buying Ferraris in order to work your way to the top. And that has been the norm. So there's nothing new there. However, this has become literally a pay-for-play game instead of a relationship building game. So instead of saying, hey, you already have maybe an SVJ, this and that, let's get you started with an F8, move you to an SF90 and things like that, dealers have basically looked at inventory they can't sell, and they said, we can't sell Portofinos, we can't sell Romas, we can't sell these cars because nobody wants them because they're overpriced junk. And so instead, what we're going to do is we're going to force you to buy that inventory in order to get you Y inventory, which is what you want. And by doing that, what we're doing is we're boosting our own profits, but then ultimately we're going to go ahead and give you this new product you want. So in a way though, was it any better than buying a used car at 100K over when you're buying two other cars that are losing 100K? I mean, when I think about that, I think it's just pure stupid. I think the idea that someone with a relationship still needs to go back and buy terrible product because now more demand is in the market, instead of saying, hey, I'm already like kind of a VIP here, is just stupid. It actually reminds us of why dealers can't get any type of loyalty from their customers, because the first chance they get, they turn around and basically screw them. Porsche has gotten a little bit smarter with this, and they've taken a playbook out of Ferrari by offering people to buy junk they don't want either. However, they've made it even more interesting, going to their top players and saying, hey, I will give you the car you want, but you're not ever allowed to resell it. It has to come back here, otherwise you won't get the next car you want, which I found to be completely idiotic at best. So let's assume I want, for example, a GT3 RS. I now am giving a GT4 RS, which I don't necessarily want, but I will take because it's a good car. It will hold its value and do well. But now that I've driven this car for a year and I want to resell it on my own, instead of being able to resell it, I basically have to take it back to the dealership and allow them to make money, despite the fact that I've actually enjoyed it, kept it, and wasn't trying to resell it. And now as a result, I have to give it back at MSRP so they can make money, and they will give me the next car. Basically forbidding any kind of ideology where you can make anything. And I find that to be oddly bizarre for a dealership that encourages people to use their cars and not so focused on the reselling game. So when customers do use their cars, they still have to be at the mercy of these terrible dealers who basically are like, their only way you're getting the new car is this. Now there's the other part of it, that Porsche dealers, if you've been trying to buy a Porsche recently, have become delusional to their best. There are still dealers today who will try to bring up this idea that a base GT3 will bring a 70 to 100K premium. That doesn't exist anywhere. Or that a GT3 RS will bring a 350K premium. That's never happened. Using very wide and large numbers from back in the 2020 era to try to basically trick customers into thinking they're hitting the jackpot by getting a car, when in reality, they're really not, because you can buy these cars for slightly over sticker now, just slightly enough to not even make you want to deal with the actual dealership itself. You know, and one of the problems is that this virus has been spread across the industry as a whole, meaning today we are seeing this happen more and more in these particular dealerships, and we're just hoping it's not going to infect the brands like Lamborghini, Bugatti, and other brands who just are still doing well, still moving inventory, still running to supply shortages, but are treating their customers with much more respect. I have now been to 6 different Porsche dealers across the United States buying cars, and all 6 have become complete cartoon character, like Looney Tunes, literally series. It's a disaster across the board. So if you out there are looking to buy a GT3 RS or something else, just wait. There is nothing special about a GT3 RS. There is nothing special about a GT3 unless it's a very crazy color touring. And I would argue that probably about over 60% of the Ferrari catalog isn't even special anymore either. And so to get real cars that are going to be real collectibles, real valuables, you're going to have to learn how to discern which ones are and which ones are not. And more importantly, you're maybe in a better position to even buy used outside of the dealership than even consider letting them make a dollar so they can continue these shenanigans. So if you've ever been considering buying a Ferrari or Porsche, I urge you to become a very good negotiator and start negotiating used new cars at non-Porsche and Ferrari lots, and that's going to give you a lot more power back in your hands. It's very unfortunate that these companies that are so high on the visual board of status are basically focusing on letting $12 bouncers, which are their salespeople, turn the entire industry into a charade. But that is literally a decision made at the very top, I promise you, at the owner circle, that translates into how the dealerships are ran. And so therefore, we're not blaming those $12 salespeople that somehow think they're now important in the world, but rather blaming these car owner group people who have now not only made a charade of this for maximizing profit, which is okay. Everyone is entitled to making the most money they can. We're in a capitalist country. However, what they're doing is they're alienating their best customers day in and day out in order to literally profit in a time where they can, but later will be rewarded with the same level of loyalty from their customers who will stop giving a shit and ultimately be beating them down to their lowest prices ever. So, right or wrong, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Again, don't forget, this is what we do at Exotic Car Hacks. We bring light to the industry, and more importantly, we keep people accountable, brands for crappy cars, dealerships for crappy service, and more importantly, we really pay attention to what's happening in the world of cars so that you don't necessarily have to keep up with all the craziness out there. So Make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more information like this, and let me know in the comments, what do you think? Have these brands completely lost their minds, or is this a great strategy for them and it will create longevity even when no one cares to buy as much of their crappy inventory that they can't sell? Love to hear your thoughts in there, and don't forget to click the link in the description and join us for Black Friday in July, where you can actually get 80% off memberships here at Exotic Car Hacks and learn this trade, and more importantly, never have to rely on a bullshit wait list out there to get the car you want. Click the link and write a comment, and I'll see you next time for Exotic Car Hacks. My name is Pejman Gadimi, and I teach people how to drive exotics for free. Let's look here at how this Huracan can cost as little as $300 a month.